Okay, welcome back to our political science class. And so far, we discussed about various aspects related with the constitution of our country, the features of the Indian constitution, the objectives of the Indian constitution. All right. Okay, so this class is basically meant to for discussing the features of the Indian constitution. So, two, three features we already discussed there, and some more I want to discuss. Nearly five are there. Okay, so just open your textbook and you can see here. So first of all, okay, the first function, we know that the first function of the constitution is to provide a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination among the members of the society. Is that idea clear? Is that idea clear? What is that? The first and foremost function of the constitution is nothing but a constitution is to provide a set of basic rules and regulations, right? Okay, that allow for minimal coordination among the people of as or members of society. That's what the first and foremost function. We discussed that. We know that. Okay. Now moving forward to the second one, discuss that too. The second function of a constitution. Okay, the second function of a constitution is to specify who has the power to make decisions in a society. Okay, who has the power to make decisions in a society. Okay, and it decides how the government will be constituted. That is the second function of the constitution. All right, that also we discussed. Clear or not? So number of limitations are there for the government there. Okay, what are they? Just reading that. Okay, this area. So you can here you can see a cartoon. Okay, what is that? Read a cartoon. uh Clear. They created a constitution. Okay, they created a constitution. Okay, the flag is there. Okay, the flag is there, but we cannot understand which country's flag is that. No idea about that, right? So let it. Anyway, it's just a caricature. All right. So here we can see that the people they are standing after a long fight. I think so, right? Huh? After a drastic or a deadly fight, the people are standing, which means the number of opinions arise. Okay, when they decide or discuss the rules and regulations in the constitution. Okay, finally, after this debates and discussions, fights, okay, deliberations and negotiations, they created the constitution for the country. Basically, it is a European constitution, right? Yes. Okay, so number of different opinions will be there. That's what the meaning. Okay, so countries of the European Union try to create a European constitution. The attempt failed. Here's a cartoon's impression of that attempt. Does this always happen in any constitution making? Definitely. Okay, different viewpoint will be there, opinions will be there, or are there, right or not? So almost we are able to find a fight in the terms of creating a constitution. Different societies are there. It's the responsibility of the constitution makers to satisfy the need or their expectations of different people. So limitations are there. What are they? But this is clearly not enough. Suppose you decide who had the authority to make decisions, but then this authority passed laws that you thought were patently unfair. Okay, it prohibited you from practicing your religion, or for instance, okay, so you selected a government. Okay, not selection after elections or voting, you selected a government, you made a government, the people made a government there. So we know that it is our government, but the government took a decision, they created a law that is against your religion or practicing your religion. So you also will turn against the government. You will turn against the government, definitely, right? Or it enjoyed that clothes of a certain color were prohibited, or the government enjoyed that certain Okay, fine. Turn on your cameras, everyone. Okay, come back. So we are discussing a special situation here. Okay, so limitations on the powers of government. Okay, so here you selected or elected a government, but the government is creating rules and regulations that are not good for you, or you are unable to adjust with that. What will happen? That's a question there. First of all, they made a problem for your religious practice. Next one, they prohibited a particular color of clothes, okay, that you like, okay, or that you were not free to sing certain songs, or that people who belonged to a particular group, caste, or religion would always have to serve others, okay, and would not be allowed to retain any property. Okay, such kind of problems. We know that, example, what you can see here, you are not able to sing a song that you like. So government prohibited that. Next one, a group of people, they always want to do some manurial jobs, okay, and no right to own property, or that government could arbitrarily arrest someone. So government is arresting with some people without any reason, or without any, what we can say, uh, trouble. Simply they are arresting, or that only people in a certain skin color would be allowed to draw water from well, okay, the division of the society on the basis of color, okay. So you would obviously think these laws were unjust and unfair. So we are able to say that these rules and regulations are not good, it is unfair, it is not justice, unjust, okay. Clear or not? Already we studied that in the political theory. What is justice? What is justice? So all these things what we read here, all these concepts are against the idea of justice, right? Against the idea of justice. So we can say that the government is not just, it is an unfair government, unfair it is. And even though they were passed by government that had come into existence based on certain procedures, that would be something obviously unjust about the government enacting these laws there, okay. So but we are unable to fight against that, because it is made by the government created all these things there, because the government is the people's government, right or not, right or not, so but it is not possible. Why? In India it is not possible, okay. The constitution will not give such powers to the government to create this kind of rules and regulations, constitution prohibiting that. Okay, so we can say that the third function of the constitution is set to some limitations on what a government can impose on its citizen. These limits are fundamental in the sense that government may never trespass them. Yesterday we discussed, right? Clear or not? So the constitution prohibits or create hindrances and barricades for the government. Clear or not? Why these barricades? No government should trespass on the personal right of the people. Right of the people. So we studied that the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Okay. So that is the essence of the constitution. We can say that that creating the people to lead a good life in the society without any problems from the side of the government. Okay, so the constitution is creating some hindrances and barricades. Okay, some limitations are there for the government. Government cannot take such kind of or cannot make such kind of rules and regulations that creating problem for the individuals or for problems for the citizens in the country. Clear or not? Clear? No such rights are there with the government. So constitution prohibiting that. Okay, so that's the rigid part of the constitution. Rigid part of the constitution. It is very difficult to change that rules and regulation. That rules and regulation. Okay, if you want to change such kind of rules and regulations, more than one third. Sorry, not one third. Out of 100, nearly 75 percentage of vote required in the parliament. Clear or not? Okay, 3 by 4 votes required in the parliament, both in the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and more than 50% of the state want to support. Then only they are able to make or amend such kind of rules and regulations in the constitution, or else it is not possible. Okay, so you understood that it is not that possible, right? So different states are ruled by different political parties, so it is not that easy to make changes in such kind of rules and regulation. But remember one thing, all the states are ruled by one individual party or one single party, means what will happen? Or brutal majority is there for a single party in the parliament, means what will happen? Are they able to make changes in the constitution? Are they able to make changes in the constitution? Definitely they are able to make. So that happened, okay, once. Okay, that's what in the year 1974, 75. Okay, under the prime ministership of Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi, she made some changes in the constitution. Okay, the next election, the people dragged her down. Clear or not? Oh, they push the government out from the power. Okay, so people, they may not like such kind of things there. All right, so that's what going on now in Delhi. We learned that, we read the news as the right, what is going on in Delhi. Okay, the farm bill, the protest against the farm bill. Okay, so number of people, they are protesting against that. They says that it is against the will of the people, will of the farmers. Okay, clear or not? So the protest is going on there, so anything might happen. Okay, so listen here. So this is the third function of the government. Okay, sorry, the constitution. So the third function of the constitution is to set some limits on what a government can impose on its citizens. So limitations are there. Clear or not? So government cannot take such kind of decisions that creating problem for the well-being of the people or the citizens there. So related with the culture, clear or not, food habits, no governments are able to take decisions, able to take a decision. So we already discussed such kind of things already in the newspaper. We know that a number of people, they killed in the North Indian states because of a consumption of beef. Clear or not? Okay, okay, and most of these governments in the North Indian states, they implemented new rules. Okay, state legislature, what is that? Okay, slaughtering of cow is considering as a criminal offense, criminal offense. Clear? Understand? But in South Indian states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, is there such a rules? You can hear me? Hello? Okay, come back, guys. Turn on your cameras. Amal Raj, Elvina, Grishma. Okay, so that's what. Okay, so we are unable to find such rules and regulations in the states of basically the South Indian states there. So we know that it is not that good to impose such kind of rules and regulations. It is against the will of the people. So food is a part of the culture. Food is a part of the culture there. No government is able to create restrictions or make restrictions on such uses. So for example, if you're discussing about Saudi Arabia or Dubai or Gulf countries, there are also such kind of rules and regulations are there. It's a monarchical type of country, but also they are not ready to create rules and regulations that creating problem for its people. Okay, its people. All right, clear. So, for example, we can say that pigmeat is against the religious activity or religious faith of Muslims, right or not? So, in the Middle East countries, if you are going for the supermarket, the pigmeat also available there because they know that a number of people from different countries visiting or working in such states or such countries, right? So, they are protecting the will of the people. They are not against the food habits, okay, or food culture. Great. Clear or not? So this is the idea. This is the idea. So understand that. So constitution creating problem or creating not problem actually hindrances or barricades for the government to create rules and regulations that is against the will and interest of the people. Okay, or basically protecting the fundamental rights. That's it. Okay, here it is. Constitution limit the powers of the government in many ways. Okay, the most common way of limiting the power of the government is to specify certain fundamental rights that all of us possess as citizens and which no government can ever be allowed to violate. So fundamental rights, 6 in number, no governments are able to violate that. Okay, what are those? What are the fundamental rights? What are the fundamental rights in India?
Right to freedom,
Right to freedom.
right to equality, right to constitutional remedies,
Constitutional remedies.
right to profess any religion,
Right to religion.
right to education,
Education, the part of culture. Then right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. Okay, but the two rights what you told is a part of a single right only. So again, one homework for you people. Okay, find out the fundamental rights. Write down. Amalraj. Amalraj is tired there. Already 3 homeworks are there again coming for the 4th one. Okay, Amalraj, fundamental rights. How many are there? What are the meaning for each fundamental right? Okay, different meanings are there. You want to learn that, you want to understand that. Okay, so easy to understand the topics what we are going to discuss. That's what. Okay, fundamental rights are important. So no government has the power to violate the fundamental rights. Okay, the exact condition and interpretation of these rights varies from constitution to constitution. So meaning of these words or these fundamental rights are different in different constitutions. Clear or not? Different constitutions in the sense different countries, they are giving different meaning for the term. For example, we can say that the word secularism, right? The word secularism. So secularism, there are two different meanings we can say that. So American secularism is entirely different than the Indian secularism. What is the difference? Any idea? Both practicing secularism. In both constitution, we can find this word what the secularism, but the meaning is different. What is that? What do you mean by secularism? Secular. India is a secular state.
doesn't promote any one religion.
Yes. Okay. So American secularism in the sense there is no religion for the state, no religion for the country, no religion for the constitutions. Right or not? Not at all. They are not promoting any religion and no religion for the constitution or for the government. Nothing of that. But people can believe in any religion or they can stay as atheist also. The government will not interfere. Clear or not in the religious affairs there. All right? Clear. So, but in India, the situation is different. In India, all religions are the government's religion. Right or not? So, we are giving equal importance for all the religions. Secular concept. All the religions are important and equal importance is there. But these religions don't have the power to interfere in the government activities. But government, they will interfere in religious activities. right or not? Yes or no? Government can interfere, right? How? So if you know that related with the religions, a particular activities there, you know, that is sacrifices. Clear or not? What kind of sacrifices? So in coming to South India or North India, we know that a number of religious rituals are there. Sacrifices of hen or chicken, sacrifices of goat or cow or a buffalo, or even human sacrifices, right? Right? So government may not ask anything related with the sacrifice of a hen or a goat or a cow or something like that. But if in the case of a human sacrifice, huh? The government will interfere or not? Definitely the government will interfere. So the constitution knows that the religious condition of our country is not that developed. Okay, so the constitution want to interfere in the religious affairs there sometimes. So we cannot say that it's a religious activity. Because of that, we sacrifice this particular person. Okay, there's no role of government in that. No religion can say that. So in India, the government can interfere in that. Clear or not? Clear or not? Okay. At the same time, we know that number of other rules and regulations are there. Some exceptional cases are there related with the marriages and divorce or property rules or laws that made by different religions, like the Sharia law of the Muslims or canon law of the Christians, some particular rules and regulations are there that religions are following that. Okay, so religious rules and regulations are there for marriages and divorce. Okay, so government accepting that, no problem for that. But we know that today the government is creating changes in the constitution to stop such rights of the religions also. Clear or not? Okay, so might heard about uniform civil code. Uniform civil code, which means the civil code is equal for all the religions, right or not? A uniform civil code. Okay, so related with Islamism, we know that there are some special provisions are there in the religion. All right, for understanding, I am speaking these things, but I am not against that religion or that religious practices. Clear or not? That's up to them. Okay, so in Indian context, we are. We have the right to believe in our own religion. The same time, we want to respect other religions, right or not? We have all the right to preach, believe our religion. The same time, we want to extend what we can say, respect to other religions. Okay, clear or not? So in that context, I am telling that. So the Sharia laws that allowing what we can say that polygamy. Okay, number of marriages. Clear or not? For men in the Islamic religion, and divorce is a simple process. Okay, basically we'll say that talaq. Okay, clear or not? So it's a simple process in the religion called Islamism or Muslims. They can do it easily. But today the government taking decisions that, or government in the way towards a decision that want to stop such kind of activities. That also will come under the Constitution of India. Okay, it is applicable now. It is applicable only for Hindus or the religions accept Christianity and Islamism. All others won't accept the civil code, it seems there. But again, they are going to make changes that everyone won't accept, it seems. Okay, the rules related with the marriages and the divorce. Okay, so Christianity also, you people might know that. Okay, basically that is related with the church and church-related activities, right or not? Government, there is no interference from the side of the government related with that. Government cannot take any decisions, right? Okay, but in the case of divorce, but today the government is interfering. Okay, so just to keep that in your mind. So that's what uniform civil codes are there. The government is trying to do that. Clear? Here, the exact content and interpretation of these rights varies from constitution to constitution, but most constitution will protect a basic cluster of rights. That's what I told, that different meanings are there for the different rights there. Citizen will be protected from being arrested arbitrarily and for no reason. This is one basic limitation upon the power of the government. Okay, so no government can arrest its citizen without any reason. It's basically termed as arbitrary arrest. Okay, so might in this case of the national movement, we studied about a particular rule that made by the British, termed as the Black Act of 1919. The famous, what act is that? The Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act. What is the specialty of the Rowlatt Act? Any idea? What was that?
Nationalist movement supporters were arrested without any reason.
Of course. So the 1919 Black Act of Indian Act of 1919, or famously known the Rowlatt Act, giving special powers to the British government, or to us, give special powers to the British police to arrest anybody, clear or not, without any information, and the government is able to keep them in jail Okay, minimum for 2 years without a trial and conviction, right or not? Clear or not? Without a trial, right? That's what the Rowlatt Act. So people are protested against that. Protested against that. So today also we can say that there is no such rights are allowed. Okay, by the Constitution prohibiting such kind of rules. Okay, so a citizen will normally have the right to do some basic liberty. So some basic liberties are there that is protected by the Constitution. What are they? The freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, freedom of association, freedom of conduct a trade or business, etc. In practice, these rights can be limited during times of national emergency, and the Constitution specifies the circumstances under which these rights may be withdrawn. Okay, but in normal case, all the citizens can enjoy all these rights except the national emergency situation. What do you mean national emergency? National emergency?
In case of war,
Maybe a case of a war between, against other country or internal conflict. There is a problem in the government. Okay, clear or not? At that time, it is considering as a national emergency. That time, these rights will be blocked by the government. Clear? Clear? Okay, that's it. Okay, so hope these ideas are clear for you. Okay, next one, aspirations and goals of a society. Aspirations. Okay, so most of the older constitutions limited themselves largely to allocating decision-making power and setting some limits to government power. But many 20th century constitutions, of which the Indian Constitution is the finest example, also provide an enabling framework for the government to do certain positive things there. So almost all the governments or almost all the constitution says that government want to do something, okay, for the development of the people. Okay, so Indian Constitution is example for that, in which the provisions are there that basically enabling framework for the government to do certain positive things. So one particular area is there. We will discuss about that area later. Okay, so just understand a special part there in the Constitution that says the government to do something positively for the welfare of the people. To express this aspiration and goals of the society, the Indian Constitution was particularly innovative in this respect. Societies with deep and entrenched inequalities of various kinds will not only have to set limits on the power of the government, they will also have to enable the empower the government to take positive measures to overcome forms of inequality and deprivation. Okay, so a number of societies are there in our country. We know that is economically backward people, socially backward people. It is the responsibility of the government to make sure their development. Okay, so this group of people also have their power to create or make a government or what we can say, push the government down from the power also, right? So powers are there with that people also, with the right to vote. So it is the responsibility of the government to take care the people basically facing problem. Okay, the economically backward people or socially backward people. So provisions are there in the government. Next one, for example, India is supposed to be a society that is free and free from caste discrimination. If this is our society's aspiration, the government will have to enable or empower to take all the necessary steps to achieve this goal. For example, all the Indians are expecting, okay, their aspiration is, what is that? A caste-free country or a country against caste discrimination. So it is the responsibility of the government to do that or assist the need of the people. Okay, for example, in a country like South Africa, it had a deep history of racial discrimination. Its new constitution had to enable the government to end racial discrimination. So South Africa is a country that faced racial discrimination for several years under the British rule. Okay, so after the independence of that country, they made a constitution. In that constitution, they made special provisions to avoid racial discrimination. So India also, we faced a problem of caste-based discrimination for several centuries. So in the constitution, their provisions are there, or Indian constitution provisions are there to fight against caste inequality or discrimination Clear? So the rules and regulations that we are able to find in the constitution related with the history of that particular country, right? Yes or no? So in America, the government secular concept is different than the Indian secular concept because both these countries culture, it is different. Cultures are different, right? Religious practices are different. That's why. That's why. Okay, so more positively, a constitution may enshrine the aspiration of a society. The farmers of the Indian constitution, sorry, not the farmers, the framers. Okay, the people those who frame the constitution. Okay, the framers, the created the constitution. The framers of the Indian constitution, for example, thought that each individual in society should have all that is necessary for them to lead a life of minimal dignity and self-respect and social self-respect. Underline that. So in each and every society, the people, the main aspiration is nothing but to lead a life with minimal dignity and social self-respect. Social self-respect basically says so, lead a dignified life in the society. Okay, so minimum material well-being, education, etc. The Indian Constitution enables the government to take positive welfare measures, some of which are legally enforceable. So the people, they required minimum material well-being, minimum property, education, and everything. Everything is coming under the people's aspiration. So the constitution says that government want to take care, or government want to take some particular steps to promote the life of the people by providing these facilities. What are these facilities? Religious, sorry, self-respect, dignity, and right to property, education. It is responsibility to the government to provide all these things to the people. All right. So just keep that in your mind. Okay. Next one, you can see a cartoon here. Okay. The constitution makers have addressed themselves to very different aspirations. Sorry, very different aspirations. So one group of people, they are the supporters of Janaganamana as the national anthem. Now, another one group that they are supporting Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram as the national anthem of our country. So might you heard about the controversy between Janaganamana and Vande Mataram. Okay, finally, the Indian Constitution, or the Prime Minister of India, along with the Cabinet Minister, accepted Jana Gana Mana as the national anthem of our country, right? So, as a controversy it was. Okay, in the era of 1949 there. Here is Nehru trying to balance between different visions and ideologies. One group is supporting Jana Gana Mana, the other group supporting Vande Mataram. Can you identify what these different groups stand for? Who do you think prevailed in this balancing act? Okay. So, who the person that is the Prime Minister of India, finally, with the discussion with the cabinet ministers, he decided Janaganamana as the national anthem of our country. So, if it is possible, just to find out the history of our national anthem. National anthem. Okay, who wrote that?
Rabindranath Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore. Very good. And what about Vande Mataram? Who wrote that? Don't say A.R. Rahman. Okay, it is not A.R. Rahman. It's someone else. Okay, who is that? Heard about? No, no idea. Okay, fine. Then find it out. Heard about Bankim Chandra Chatterjee? No, no. Okay, let it. Anyway, we will discuss balance in the next class, guys. Just read, okay, read, and I give homework for you people. That also complete for the next class. Thank you. We will meet in next class today itself, right? Okay, one more class is there today. Just I'll meet in that time. Okay, thank you.